Hello, everybody. I'm not sure if you're live or yet not. I'll have to see. But if I am live, as you regulars know, it takes me a minute to get set up. So just hang with me, and we'll get going. So I've got some good information to give you guys tonight as well. Okay, so we are live. There's even a couple people here. Hello, Will. Hello, Dana. Nice to see y'all. So again, bear with me while I set some things up. I'm live. Yeah, I took it off earlier while I was cooking. I put it there on purpose. Okay, let me save that. Let me go here. Turn that on, and that is saved. And let me get a new, what do you call that? A new Discord. Let me put that in. So if anybody wants to join Discord, that will be there as well. Let's get a brand new one of those. And let's see, where is invite people? There it is. Copy. And I'll put that there. So now we have the new Discord. If you guys want to join Discord, the link is there. All right, I'm almost ready, guys. So just keep hanging on. All right, that looks good. Let me get the link and post it to Facebook. And if you guys don't know, I do have a Facebook page, and that's probably if you want to contact me, that's one of the best ways that you can contact me. You can message me there privately if you want to, be a guest or give me suggestions for guests or anything else you want to write to me about. All right, and I think we are all set. Okay, yes, I think we're all set. 63 people there. Oh, that is awesome. And I've got some great news to tell you guys later about our upcoming podcast I'm going to be posting because I just recorded 2 really good ones. I just recorded 2 really good ones. And if you guys know of the movie What Dreams May Come, I'll be telling you about that and why that is important, because the producer of that movie did the podcast with me. Anyways, we've got 3 people waiting here, so let's jump right to it, and we'll get Daniel. And while we're waiting, I can try to tell people hello. Let me see if I can ask him to start video. All right, so who's here? Abigail, hello. Studio LB, hello. Carrie, hello. Indy, hello. Tammy, hello. Pool Studio, hello. Laura, hello. Sherry, T-Barb, Will Russ, DB, Christine, hello. So hello to everybody. And I want to say happy Sunday to you. And if you're in the far east, then happy Sunday to you, because it's already Sunday over there. And looks like Daniel's just a little bit slow getting into the Zoom with us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him back into the waiting room while he's getting it set up. And let's see if we can get Jeffrey in there and get him started. And see if that will be quicker. So I didn't kick you out, Daniel. I just put you back in. Maybe your Zoom is still setting up. I'm not sure. And also, while I'm waiting, I got some new health tips for you. For those of you that are interested in health tips, I stumbled across some stuff, and I kind of I basically knew about this. Well, looks like we're about to get started. I'll have to save it for later. I think he's going to join us very soon here. His microphone's turned on. I think I hear him. Jeffrey, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just do not see you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't I'm not super presentable right now. I was trying to get a fire going. I was waiting when you posted the link. I was waiting for a long time, and I just got to doing something else, and I forgot about you. I'm sorry.
Well, do you want to
I can get my studio together. It'll just take me a minute.
All right, why don't I put you back into the waiting room, and I'll go back to Daniel, and then maybe by the time we're done, you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks. All right, see you soon. All right, so let's go back to Daniel and see if Daniel's ready, and hopefully he'll be presentable by the time we're there. So anyways, arsenic in rice. Now, if you're not in the U.S., this may not apply to you because I don't know where you source your rice from. But in the U.S., most of the places that you get rice from, and I think it's probably the only two, is either Texas rice or California rice. I mean, that's where it's grown. You can get rice here from probably all over the world. As far as I understand, most places in the world, if not all, are going to have arsenic in the rice. When you're sourcing it from outside the U.S., I don't know, but supposedly the best rice the rice with the least amount of arsenic in this country is California rice. So there's one of your tips for the day. So try to get California rice. Texas, there's a lot of cotton fields here, and I think for many, many years they've been working those fields, and who knows what they put in the ground to get that cotton to grow. And so I think the soil is just saturated with too much arsenic, so it kind of bleeds into the rice. And also I heard that if you're into wild rice, it's actually the best because wild rice technically is not even a rice. It's a grass, and there's zero arsenic in it. So that's that. Okay, Daniel's having trouble too. Anyway, so I'll talk about this. I did a podcast yesterday with Stephen Simon. He is the producer of What Dreams May Come. If you have seen that movie, which with this audience, I'm guessing that most of you have, we talked about the movie. We talked about Robin Williams. We talked about his book. And he wrote his book with his wife, who has transitioned, and he wrote the book actually with his wife on the other side of the veil. So we talked about that. He also produced the movie Somewhere in Time, and What Dreams May Have Come are two books by the same author. Somewhere in Time is the first one, and The Dreams is the second one. And so I think you guys will really like this video. It's one of my favorites. And also, what is even more fascinating about this video is he is the godson of Frank Sinatra. This guy's father was old school Hollywood. And if you have seen The Godfather and you know the beginning of The Godfather with the character that is similar to Frank Sinatra, and there's a dead horse's head winds up in the owner of the movie studio's bed. His father is part of that. We talk about that. We talk about what really happened. So if you like that old school Hollywood history, I think you'll really like that story as well. And I'm sorry to read that, Russ. If everybody could give a prayer for Russ, that would be great. I see that in the comment. And Daniel, you're here. I don't know if you're actually here or not. You're not getting inside the room or not. All right, so on Thursday, I had a podcast with a dream analysis expert. She's been at it for a long time. She writes twice a month for Oprah's magazine. She also writes for Psychology Today. And not only will I think you like the podcast, she is agreed to come back and analyze some of your dreams. So after watching it, if you want to have your dreams analyzed, or one of your dreams or a certain aspect of your dreams analyzed, then I'll put a link. I'll probably write something about that in the make a community post for people who want their dreams analyzed, and then we'll get her back and we can talk about everybody's. Well, not everybody's, because if like 200 or 300 of you guys send dreams, it's going to be impossible, right? But at least some of y'all's dreams. And her name is Lainey Dolphin. So those are two really cool updates. And I'm still waiting for Daniel to get in. And by the way, how many people are here now? 140 of you guys are here. I only have one. So if you want, you can put back on your Halloween mask and come on if you want to kind of be anonymous. You can do that as well. Tamara, yes, you can. Just come on in the room. Anybody who wants to share their paranormal experience, this is your time. Oh, okay. So here's my second health tip I stumbled across was cinnamon. I didn't even know this, but there are two types of cinnamon. And if you are really into cinnamon, you may already know this. There is Ceylon, and I think that's spelled Ceylon. And then there's Cassia, Cassia, cinnamon. The good cinnamon is Ceylon. The not so good cinnamon is Cassia. Some people may even consider Cassia bad for you. Anyways, one of the ways to tell between the two is if you get the cinnamon sticks, right? And let's say it's a stick, but you hold it this way and you look inside. The Cassia cinnamon is pretty much hollow inside, and it's really hard, and it's hard to break. The Ceylon cinnamon, it kind of folds on top of itself over and over inside, and it's easier to break. So I had to order some brand new cinnamon. I'm waiting for that to come in. And so we'll see. But if you're interested in that, check that out. You can check it out on YouTube, and you can just Google the different types of cinnamon, Cassia and Ceylon. How do you join and share? This is Benita. If you look underneath at the bottom of under the video, it says right under the video, if you want to join me, Zoom ID and passcode. So if all you need is a Zoom account, and then once you get into your Zoom, you can just click join room or join meeting. It's one of those. And then once you click to join the room or join the meeting, it'll ask you for the Zoom ID and the password or passcode, and you've got them right there. Ceylon and also Vietnamese cinnamon. I think Ceylon comes from Indonesia. I think Vietnamese may be more cassia, but I'm not sure. That's true, Swamper. That is true. One thing I like to make is, I don't know if you guys like it. It's called, some people just call it chai tea, or you can call it masala chai tea. I tinkered with the recipe quite a bit and actually got a really good mix. And I would grind up the spices on my own. So in the little grinder, I would grind up whole cloves, whole cinnamon sticks, and whole cardamom pods, the green ones. And I would grind that. And for me, you grind that up and you smell the powder. And to me, that's what heaven smells like, that smell. So then you brew that with your tea, and then you add the milk, and then you strain it. And also when you make your tea, you're going to add some sliced ginger and maybe even a tiny bit of black pepper. Oh, Ceylon is now called Sri Lanka. Okay, there you go. So see, thanks for Thanks for correcting us, Swamper. Chai tea is so good. See, there you go. Yes, I love it. We make it all the time. And actually, I started going caffeine free. I'm pretty close. I cut my caffeine way back. And if you guys like coffee and you like tea without caffeine, I buy this coffee online called, I buy it on Amazon. It's called No Fun Joe. And this is another thing you can look into. But if you want to get decaf coffee or tea, the best way you can do it is, I think they call it the carbon dioxide method. And it's clean. There's nothing bad for you in it. And the coffee I get is actually pretty good. I like it. And it's 99% caffeine free. So that's one of the things I really like. And really, for me, I'm not a hardcore coffee drinker. I almost just like coffee flavored milk. So that's what I drink. And then I'm going to go back. I haven't made chai. I stopped drinking chai for a long time, but I'm going to start getting back into chai a little bit more. And I bought this black tea that they also use, that reverse. Oh no, it's not reverse osmosis. It's carbon dioxide method. And that, I think, takes 97% of the caffeine out. But we made the chai once and it tastes good. So that's what I'm into. Besides my Topo Chico. And that's, for those of you who don't know, it's Mexico's version of Perrier. I live about 2 hours from Mexico, so it's common where I live. My caffeine addiction is Diet Mountain Dew. Ooh. Tea of turmeric is amazing. Yes, you're right. Also, if you're going to do turmeric, you should always remember you want to use fresh turmeric, because powdered turmeric is only good for 30 days after they dry it and powderize it. So unless it has a date on your turmeric powder, it's probably going to be too old, and most, if not all, the medicinal benefits are gone. Hello, Karen. All right, I'm still waiting for Daniel. And Jeffrey's gone. He split. And I saw him here, and I don't know what happened to him, but Ray was here. And Ray was just in the other day. When did I post Ray's? Maybe on Monday? Ray Fiersteins. And he is the gentleman that has the machine that we can talk to the people on the other side. I've already scheduled a podcast with Ray where we're going to record it. I think it'll be much better than trying to do it live. Excuse me, because it could just be too messy live, and we may have to troubleshoot stuff to get it all set up, and it just may be, and to have other people at the same time just may be too cumbersome. So I've scheduled Ray for next Sunday night. I believe I'm going to be recording that video with him, and hopefully we will have some really cool footage. But I can tell you, and if he comes on here, because he told me, I was trying to talk to people on the other side and I was saying my name, and he told me that a day or two later people were still saying my name from the other side. Christine, I'm new here. What do you do? What got you into NDEs? It was my grandpa's NDE he told you about. All right. I liked NDEs from a long time ago. I think I stumbled across either Dr. Eben Alexander or Dr. Pin Van Lummel's work. Probably 10 years ago, I'm guessing. So I guess that's kind of what got me into it. Ray and Jock. My caffeine addiction is dark roast, organic Sumatra Italian. Oh. All right. So I'm going to put Daniel back, and we'll put Joy in. See what's up with Joy. She's halfway here. She's almost here. Joy, can you hear me?
Oh my God.
There you are.
I'm here. Let me get in more light.
All right. What's going on?
Well, I wasn't expecting to actually come on, but I had made a comment in the comment section. Sorry.
Ooh. Oh,
For the person that was talking about cancer.
okay. I think that was Will that said he had cancer or
Yes.
something and he needs some prayers.
And I just wanted to reach out because there is, the technique of talking with your cells that could actually potentially help.
Mm.
And I wanted to mention that. The only story I could think of that I could share with you is as far as a experience. My husband had his drum kit in the garage.
All right.
He was playing music, and I went out there just to check things out. There were orbs all over the place.
Wow.
And it was very smoky looking. And so I'm like, oh my God, I got to grab my camera.
Yeah.
So I grab my iPhone and I go out there, I take a snapshot of it. And then when he was done playing music, he came back in the house and I took another snapshot. There was nothing.
Do you have the pictures?
I have the pictures and I'll have to post them. Where would you suggest I post them?
Are you a member of Discord?
I was with your old Discord. And
I have a new one. I even put a new link into it tonight. It's in there. Yeah. So maybe you can join and post it in Discord. That would be great.
Yeah.
So you see I'm sorry to cut you off. I was going to say, did you see the orbs flying around right there in front of you?
Yes. When I walked out there, it was kind of smoky looking, but then orbs were traveling and I had one zip right across my face.
Wow.
As I was filming, and I'm going, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. So yeah, it was pretty spectacular.
Was he smoking a cigarette or something when he was playing drums, or why was it smoky?
He was into his drums. And one thing that I do know about spirit is that they love music. And they will come and connect. And I think that's what was going on.
That's cool.
And coming from my husband's point of view, he's funny about spirit. He's kind of like, and he's living with, we're married. We've been married for a long time,
right,
together for over 20 years. And I actually used my powers to find the mailbox key the other day.
Oh, cool.
And I said, see, you can't doubt spirit. So anyway.
Did he see them too? Or he was so into his drums he didn't pay attention?
He was into his drums, yeah. And I just happened to open the garage side door. It comes from our house out to the garage. He didn't even know I was filming.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I showed him the pictures and he was like, oh my gosh. I mean, that's unbelievable.
That is cool. Were they like this size, or what size would you say they were?
They were all different. You could see the particles, but they were all circular, different sizes. And the one that shot across was kind of a blue color and just zipped across my face. And I was just like, whoa.
Wow.
I mean, this is so cool.
That's cool.
So
that's awesome. Yeah, you and the only other person I believe I've talked to that sees him live is, I did a podcast with Dr. Graham O'Connor. And I think it's probably about a year ago, or maybe a little less, but I think that he sees an orb, and I think it may be his friend that passed, but he sees, and I think even in the podcast, he's like, did you see that? There it went.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't even expecting it, but when I saw it, I'm thinking, oh, please don't leave. I need to grab my phone. And so I, took a picture of it, and it was just bizarre to see it all present. And then when he was done playing, he came in, I went back out to the garage and shot another picture, and I'm going, there's nothing here.
Oh.
So.
That's interesting that they left.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing with us. And yeah, if you would please put that in Discord. I know I want to see them, and I'm pretty sure other people would like to too. Sure. Yeah. Cool.
So.
All right, Joy. Well, thanks for joining us. Do you have anything else you want to share?
Just if, the person out there, I'm sorry, I don't have the notes in front of me.
Oh, was Will?
Yes, Will. If he would like to reach out to me, I would love to help any way that I can.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
So, All right.
All right.
Well, thank
Thanks,
you.
Joy. You take care.
All right, you too. Thank you.
See you
Bye.
later. And don't report. All right, Will, if you're listening, I can't guarantee it, but I was watching one time. I think if you look into Joe Dispenza's stuff, he talks about people who do his meditations and stuff get healed of cancer. So, for what it's worth, I'm just passing that information along to you. Let's go back to Daniel and see if his system is working now. And we'll see. Is Jeffrey Horace there? No, he's not there either. Oh, Karen has some orbs picked too. Cool. Maybe you can post them in the Discord. Remove. Okay, I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room, and I'm gonna go to. I guess I'll go to Sophia. See how that goes. Yeah, and for those of you that don't know or do know, I have a Discord that I set up. Discord is it's kind of like Facebook, but it's different. Mostly used by people who like to live stream and or game and play games together. It's a place where you can talk to each other. There is a voice thing.
Oh,
hey, Sophia.
Huh?
How are you? Welcome.
Great. Gosh,
Welcome.
It's so great to talk to you in person. I watch a lot of your interviews.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Where are you from?
I'm in Eugene, Oregon.
Eugene. Wow. You know, someone had told me a long time ago that my personality is perfect for Eugene. I've never been there.
So much.
But that's what I was told.
Yeah. It's very mellow, a little bit quirky. So
that's where I need to pack up and move there. I like your I like the candle in the background. I think that's a great idea.
One here too. Yeah, thank you. No, you have the best voice. I fall asleep listening to it.
Are you sure that's a good thing?
Yes.
If I'm putting you guys to sleep?
Definitely.
So what has happened to you paranormally?
Well, it's I haven't had an NDE myself, but I became absolutely just fascinated with them. I mean, I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said I've read over 1,000 accounts over the years of them, which started when my father passed back in 2009. And usually when somebody dies, you can kind of sense them on the other side. And with my dad, who I was the closest to of anybody I'd known that had died, he just disappeared. I couldn't find him anywhere. And it really created like this spiritual crisis, really, for me. Like, what is going on? And for about 6 months, I was in a lot of distress. And then I had this amazing experience with, I went into a group grief, that's right, grief support group. And I did a private session with the support group leader, and she did a guided meditation, which for me, that was the paranormal experience, because it was much more than anything I could have ever imagined in my mind where it went. And I wanted to tell you about that. I found my dad just walking on my favorite mountain, which is in Marin County, up in Mount Tamalpais, and joined him there. And he was pretty quiet, and he took me to a Buddhist temple that's nearby called Green Gulch. Some of your viewers might know it. And we went into this room, and there was this wooden Buddha that was like 100 feet tall, which is not there in real life. And he just said, sit. My dad was an anthropologist, by the way. So I sat, and he sat with me, and we had this beautiful sitting meditation together. And like, I felt him, and it was just magical. And then he, right here, just like this, he's like, I'm right here, kiddo, pointing to my heart. And that healed it right there.
That's awesome.
I'm right here, kiddo. And so that started a search for me of stories of NDEs. I decided it would make a really great television series. And so I'm writing it now. I've written the pilot so far, and I have all of these different ideas for story.
How would you set it up as a TV show? I'm curious about that.
So I would put the main character in the health profession, and without thinking that they were special, they would see when somebody passes and flatlines, they would see the light in the room, and they would hear something like, let me go, and then thank you. And then they might get into their own accident where they go up into heaven and meet a dead relative, and then come back with their whole world turned upside down. Where they thought they were in a healing profession before, now their whole mission is to be there in hospice. It's actually I have it, the working title for it is called hospice. So it will be in hospices where each episode is going to be, it's going to feature a different family and all the family dynamics that go with it. And then the hook is at the very end. And here I'm giving my Hollywood, my secrets.
That's okay.
But the hook at the very end is that we actually follow the person in their transition up to their version of heaven. And that's the whole point of doing this series, is number one, so that people won't be afraid of death, and number two, to expand their sense of what the afterlife and heaven is, that everybody's is unique. At least that's what I have found, is that even though there's a sameness, that's what keeps them unendingly fascinating, is that there's a unique twist to each one of them.
Yeah, I think it could be cool. I mean, are you saying a TV show? So every week every week you got someone who crosses over in the hospice, and maybe he has a shared NDE with him.
Yeah, he's there in their transition. He helps their transition time, which is actually what one of my brothers does do. He works in as a caregiver, and he's helped many of the elderly folks transition who have been afraid.
Yeah, I think it could be a great idea. Have you seen the movie What Dreams Have Come? Now, I just mentioned this earlier. I don't know if you were here, but I just recorded it with Steven Simon, the producer, yesterday. He's a great guy, and he coined the word spiritual cinema. And he was telling me that in Hollywood, they're not really into spiritual stuff that much. Yeah. He said, I don't want to be a downer, but he said I guess it took him 20 years to get that movie made. And he also did the preview of the previous book of that, Somewhere in Time. But everything's changed since COVID. People are like more spiritual now, and everything's changing. And if the ascension is real, maybe this is the perfect time for your show. So I say go for it and write it and submit it to whoever you do that to.
Thank you so much. I agree. I think things are shifting, and that the time is right. And there's also more women in cinema now than there used to be. And looking for different storylines, that it's not all, the hero's journey type thing, right, where things have to blow up.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's great that you mentioned that, the hero's journey. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, thanks for that encouragement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, like I said, I don't know about writing I don't even know what you call that. You write a pilot or something?
Well, yeah, well, it's a screenplay, and the
Mm.
first episode is the pilot. And I'm being mentored by a Hollywood screenwriter, who, of course, is wanting it to be a little more kind of um, uh, more action, less conversation. So he's working me.
There you go. And I don't know if you know this, but Portland, I think, has a pretty big film community there.
They do,
So
and
maybe you can
would
hook
be
up with somebody there.
surprised that actually Eugene has its own burgeoning film community. I've been in about 10 movies so far here in Eugene. It's called the Lane County Filmmakers,
Oh, cool.
and it's this group. It's a loose group of, or loosely, I should say, loosely affiliated group of people. And there's writers and camera people and actresses, and we all just kind of roll up our sleeves and make each other's films.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so it's yeah, and I think independent film is the way to go right now. I think Hollywood is becoming a dead kind of a template on how to reach each other. I mean, like really reach each other, you know, this audience that might be a little bit kind of just under the radar or not necessarily mainstream.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but you may be right.
I don't know.
As far as I know, it seems like everything made either goes to Netflix or Amazon.
Yeah, Netflix is on my list for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, I need to run to the next person. Thanks for showing much. Thanks for sharing with us.
Thank you so much.
I wish you massive success with your show.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. All right. Don't report. Now let's go to Diane. Let's see what Diane's up to. Hello, Eugene. Eugene's here. Eugene Braxton. He's been one of my guests. We talked about his NDE. Right. Maybe he will pop in later. Now let's go to Diane. I can hear myself, so I know that their audio is working. Hello, Diane. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Surprised it's me again.
Oh, that's okay. What's going on tonight?
Oh, good to see you.
Yes, sir. Your video did pretty well.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, huh? I was surprised by all the positive feedback.
Did people reach out to you? Personally? Well, I don't think we left an email or a Facebook or anything because I just kind of took it from here, right?
Right, yeah.
Right. So I'm not sure if, usually with my guests, I'll say, well, if you want to talk to William, then you can, here's William's Facebook and ask him questions, or here's his website or whatever. But since I kind of grabbed it from here, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So,
if anybody wants to talk about that stuff, man, that's what I live for. That's my.
Did you join the Discord? You did join the Discord, right? Because
yeah,
I thought you did. So if you want to reach out to William, he's there on Discord. I'm not sure if you want to give out any of your other personal information. If not, that's okay. I'm not.
It doesn't matter.
I'm just throwing it out there. Anyways, you were going to come back and talk about UFOs.
Yeah.
What has happened?
Well, I got two stories for you. The first one was, excuse me, when I was between 18 and 19. I don't know exactly the year, but I was sitting in my driveway in Pennsylvania, in rural Pennsylvania, kind of like between Allentown and Philadelphia, if anybody knows where that is. And I was sitting with a good high school buddy of mine, and it was funny because we were talking about UFOs and life on other planets and stuff, and I was like, he was like, no, that doesn't exist, and I was like, well, I think it probably does. It's it's a big place. So over to our right, there was this light in the sky, and it was just coming closer and closer to us. It wasn't in any hurry. And we just kept up the conversation, what teenagers talk about. And all of a sudden, this light is coming closer and closer. And at the time, I lived like next to a farm. So there was like a big, empty like crop field. And this thing came over and it hovered in the middle of this field. And it was probably, I don't know, maybe 50 yards from where we were parked.
That's close.
Yeah. So I got out of the car and I started running towards this thing because it was just in the sky. It was just sitting there. It made no sound at all. This thing, and my buddy Rusty, he came running after me. But yeah, this thing, Jeff, it was as big as a city block. This thing was huge in the sky.
What shape was it?
It was more like rectangular shape. It wasn't like a saucer or anything like that. It was huge, and it just sat there, totally silent. And I'm like, take me, take me, because I didn't want to be here anyway, And then it had 3 lights on it. I don't remember the lights, but it was 3 different colored lights, and I could see it. I could just see like the outline, maybe the shape of it. I didn't see any like there weren't any like lights like permeating from it that I could see inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it moved, it just made this low rumble, and it just glided away. It just glided real slow over top of the house and over top of the hill. It was just like, and we were like looking at each other like, what was that?
Did you recount any missing time?
No.
Okay. So then you probably didn't get contacted then.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. But I mean, I don't know what's out there in the world, but I don't think anything moves like that.
I've heard of people when they see the triangular shaped crafts, they kind of basically describe the same thing generally. You can't hear them and they just slowly fly overhead. And I think they fly pretty slow, like what you were saying. Did you notice that as it was overhead, it blocked out all the stars because it was in the way?
Oh, it was huge. It was
like,
huge.
Would you say the size of a football field?
I would probably say it was close. It was close. It was massive. It was really massive.
Well, you and your friend were brave guys if you went out running for it.
No, we were stupid.
Now I can't remember when you had your NDE. I think this is after your NDE, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was 14 when I had my NDE, and then around 18, 19, and I was still in that I don't want to be here phase. So
that makes sense now why you're like, take me with you.
Yeah. If it happened now, I don't think I'd get out of the car.
If you had a green laser pointer, would you have shined it on that ship to try to get their attention?
Oh, probably. Yeah. I mean, I was down there. Hey.
Kind of reminds me of that movie. What was that? 4th of July, where they were waiting for the UFO, and they had like one woman had like a poster board, "Take me with you" or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just so unbelievable.
What was your second one? What was your second sighting?
Well, my second one was a little bit more dramatic than this one. It was in the same house. It was actually when I first started to see my now wife, Diane. um, yeah, I just came home from taking a walk with her, and I was actually in my bathroom doing what you do in your bathroom, and I'm looking out the window, and I see these lights, coming towards me, and I mean, there's a million lights in the sky. You don't think anything of it, but it caught my attention, and I looked at it, and all of a sudden, there was like it was like maybe like five of them that were flying like in formation, like almost straight towards me. Not quite. They were going more to my right. And as I was looking at them, they start like switching formation.
Hmm.
And then I was like, whoa, what is that? Because it was quick. They started, switching formation fast. And I'm like, oh man, what is that? So I I ran downstairs. I ran out onto my front porch deck, and I looked up, and they were coming across, and the sky was clear. I'm not saying it was like crystal clear, but the sky was relatively clear. It wasn't like a cloudy night or anything. And these five um, oblong shape, like cigar shape things are flying, and there's five of them flying in formation, and they kind of go over my head. And here's the bizarre part: is they dematerialized in front of my eyes. Now, I never heard anybody say that about a UFO, but they just disappeared. Like I say, it wasn't a cloudy night.
Were these, no, this was nighttime. They were cigar shaped. Were they fully illuminated? So it was like or was just like the edges, or what,
Yeah, it was just you could see the silhouette.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible they just turned off the lights? Or it was different where they were just gone?
Anything is possible, but no. They dematerialized from my perspective at that time. I wasn't on anything at all. I was completely, sober as a judge.
Right. Did you say you lived in a remote place of Pennsylvania at the beginning?
Yes.
Like a small town, or actually out in like farmland?
Farmland, yeah.
Farmland. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of wish I had a house that I lived out somewhere remote like that, and my roof was glass. So like if I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't sleep, I can always lay in bed and kind of like look around for UFOs until I fall back asleep.
Yeah, but that was pretty bizarre.
Well, some people may say that you're one of the luckiest guys there is, because not only have you had an NDE, but you have also seen UFOs. You may not agree with that, but...
Well, what I can say about the UFO thing is this might be a really poor choice of words, right? But it's kind of like being raped.
Yeah, we don't want to use that word too much.
No, well, I've been there too, so
right.
I can personally use that.
Right. I'm just saying for the broadcast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it was just when I saw that, it was like mind blown.
Wow. Yeah.
And it just made me wonder, if I saw that, millions of other people have seen something similar to that.
Right.
Why the secret? Why the secret out there,
Yeah, that's a good question.
Right. And that's like, boy, it just really like...
the more and more I kind of read, it seems like now people are not only saying that UFOs are here, they're starting to say they're here on the planet with us.
Yeah.
I don't
know the difference between this time now, 2021, or, back then. I mean, either way.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, something's definitely here.
Right. Right. All right, bud. Well, I need to run to the next person. This is William, and he is podcast number 317. I think I published his on Monday. So if you haven't seen his, he was here last Saturday, and I just kind of chopped it out and made it its own special because, well, and so if you want to come check it out, then it's there for you, and maybe you should take a look at it. I think you might like it.
One other thing, could I say one other thing about that?
Of course, sure.
Okay. What I don't get is us on this planet, because I look at every other living creature on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
They all make sense. We don't make sense. And I see those things in the sky, and I just got to wonder where we came from.
Yeah, we could have a whole podcast on that. You may want to watch the one I had with Paul Anthony Wallace. He's a best-selling author, maybe a New York Times best-selling author. I'm not sure which one it is. I think I titled it something like "The Vatican Says UFOs Are Real" or something like that, because we talked about that. Anyways, we talked about basically, we were aliens, maybe took monkeys or whatever and created us, which, kind of makes more sense in a way, because yes, I agree that we seem a little bit of the odd animal out for the whole planet.
Yeah.
And it was a cool podcast, and we even talked about that they made us too smart and they had to dumb us back down a little bit.
Ooh. And where do I find that?
Oh gosh, when was that one? It's one of them. If you just probably search, if you want to give me a second, I'll see if I can search it.
That's okay. If you just give me his name.
Here. It's number 177, and it says Vatican Reverend says aliens are in the Bible.
Okay.
And yeah, that's number 177. So if you just put JeffMara and then you probably put the word Vatican or those two words probably together should be able to find that. But
cool, Jeff. Thanks a lot.
That's
appreciate
a cool
it.
one. Yeah. All right, William. Well, I better run along. Thanks again for sharing with us. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you again.
All right. Take care.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Don't report. All right, so there was William. He was kind enough to come back. Let's get Stephanie in here. And I'll put ask to unmute and ask to start video. Hello, Stephanie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Crystal clear.
All right.
Where are you from?
I'm from California.
Yeah. You were here last week, right?
I was here on the Halloween show.
The Halloween show. Okay, that's why it is. You had a costume, right?
I did not have a costume.
Oh, you didn't?
I
Okay.
literally just jumped on spur of the moment. Thought, oh my gosh, I'll see if I can get on and.
I'm glad you did, and welcome back.
Thank you.
So, what's going on with you this week?
Well, I wanted to tell you about my. I had a spontaneous out-of-body experience that was very similar to a near-death experience. So,
when was that?
About 20 years ago, actually. So.
What were you doing? Were you meditating or what?
No. So actually, what happened was I came home from work and I was tired, and so I laid down just to rest, and I feel like I must have slipped into some kind of a meditative state, because what happened was I started hearing like a roaring sound, almost like a tornado would sound like. If you're from the South, you know what that sounds like. And it got louder and louder, and then I felt this energy kind of rush from my feet up to my head, and then I was out of my body. And I really felt like I was being pulled out of my body. And as I was kind of leaving, I looked back down, and it was really quick. But I could see my body lying there. And then all of a sudden I was just in this light. And to me, it looked like fog, like I was in a fog of light. And I was in like a circle, and in the rest of the circle was what I saw as light beings, and they were like, there was a soul. So from what I understood, like kind of immediately, there was a soul, and then next to them was their guide, and there was like a half circle of souls and guides. And then in the other part of the circle, and I was part of that, and then the other part of the circle was this amazing orb of light. And it was an incredibly bright, it was like the sun, basically, except you could look at it. And it was extremely beautiful. And it was pouring out love. And it was just saturating me in love. And more love than I've ever felt before, just an extreme amount. And so then what happened was the light started calling to each of the souls. And so the soul I would watch, and it would stream into the light. And one by one, they were doing that. And then it got to me, and I felt this pull on me. And I heard, well, I didn't hear, but telepathically, I heard the words come to me. And I felt my soul start to pull towards it. And I actually was like, no. I said no, which I can't believe, like literally, I can't believe I still said no in that amount of love.
Well, you may not still be here with us if you didn't.
I know. Well, and that's what's so crazy, because it wasn't a near death. Like I wasn't dead. At least I don't think I had died. So since then, I've always kind of felt like I chose not to receive love. That's how I kind of took it. But as soon as I said no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I wouldn't look at it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason I did. I did for a long time. So when I said no, I immediately was like falling back into my body. And I just slammed into my body. And then I experienced like a paralysis type thing where I couldn't move for quite some time. And so that was what happened.
How did that experience change you afterwards?
Well, honestly, I was in shock. I was in shock that happened. I was a 20-something, and I was really just interested in kind of partying, and like I was going to work, and I do think I was just living superficially. I remember there being just lots of gossip, lots of kind of work gossip, and just worrying about those kind of things. And after that happened, my perspective kind of was like, there's more to life. Like there's more to life than this. But I was still 20-something. I was still in that environment. And I just kind of kept doing that for quite a while. And then actually I got to a point in my life where everything was kind of really, really difficult. And I just remember feeling one day like, I want that love back. Like what I experienced, that's what I need. And that's what I've got to find. And so I started like searching, and I started looking at all the different religions, and I started reading tons and tons of books about, different things. And I ended up reading a book called The Rite. It's about Father Gary Thomas, and he was an exorcist. And it really touched me. And then I started looking at, it really interested me. And I started looking at Catholicism. And I just found it very beautiful. I found the traditions very, very inspiring, and I liked the fact that I could that there were saints that, you know, that to me it made a lot of sense that there are saints that also prayed for you, that they're still around in another, you know, after they've crossed over, and that they were still there with you and could pray for you. And it touched me. And so I started looking for Catholic parishes to go to. And so the one that was very close to my house, I looked at, and the pastor was Father Gary Thomas. So
wow,
I was like,
what a coincidence.
Yeah. And so I thought, well, you know, it's kind of weird. Like, how do I go to a Catholic church? I'm like, what do you even do? You know? And so I was really nervous about it. And so I took some time to kind of pray. And I was like, you know, if I'm meant to do this, you know, give me a sign. And I felt just an amazing rush of love and joy, just similar to what I had felt in my out-of-body experience. And so again, I thought, okay, well, that's a good sign. So I ended up going there, and I think I talked to you on the Halloween show about all the crazy, like, dark stuff that actually happened in my house. And
are you still Catholic?
I am still Catholic.
Right,
And I'm Catholic, but I definitely believe there's many roads to God, and I don't believe that any one way is the way. I believe everybody kind of has their own path. So,
well, I think just like all roads that lead to Rome, you know, there's many paths that lead home or lead to home. So you just got to find what works for you.
Right.
Did you see the podcast that I did with Father Nathan? Father Nathan, what's his last name? Father Nathan, I don't know why I can't remember his last name, but he's a Catholic priest. I did 2 of them with him, that spirits started coming to him in his dreams that couldn't cross over, and him and I guess another priest friend of his that's a medium, they helped them start crossing over. Nathan Castle, I'm pretty sure that's his name.
Yeah. I just saw that pop up on your page the other day, and so I watched that. And
he's a cool guy.
Yeah, that was actually really inspiring, because I've had a lot of things happen in my dreams, and I've actually had a time where I helped a soul cross over.
Oh wow.
I was guided to do that.
What
was that?
I was going to say that's cool. Well, I want to say that's cool. And maybe you can come back next week and tell us how you did that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to run. I need to run to the next person. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
But thank you so much for coming and sharing with us, Stephanie.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye. You take care. What do I need to do? That's what. Oh, she already removed herself. All right. So let's see if we can get Daniel back in this time. He's been there almost since the beginning. And hopefully we can get him in. He's ready. If not, we can go to our good friend Steven. And we got 272 of you here. That's great. So thank you guys for being here, as well as I hope some more of you will be willing to come in and share with us. And I don't know what's going on with Daniels all evening. It's been slow. I don't know if slow is the right word, but he's just not able to have his camera come on, nor have his mic come on. So I'm going to put him back, and let's add Steven and see what he's up to this week. And it looks like he's halfway here. And there he is. Hello, Stephen. Happy Saturday to you.
Well, my voice is back now.
Your voice
So
is back.
I don't have to
good.
talk in the movie voice.
Your voice is back. Your internet's a little slow, but at least we got your voice back.
I was working on a song called "We Can Work It Out." It was with the band with John and Paul and Ringo. And then at a certain point we couldn't work it out anymore, so we wrote a song called "This Is Not Working Out." We can't work it out anymore. Time to break up.
Have you seen the special about you on, what is it, on Disney? The Beatles special that they've got?
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet? I have not. I don't have Disney right now. I'll probably get it when the new Star Wars movies start coming out again. Maybe at that point I'll watch the Beatles. I saw the trailer today for the new Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series that they're coming out with, and that looked pretty good. Are you a Star Wars?
I haven't watched. I'm a Star Wars fan, but I haven't watched any of the Netflix stuff or anything like that.
You haven't? The rumor I read online that George Lucas had an NDE.
So creative minds are tapping into other worlds. That's what we're doing. So I'm a creative mind, so I'm tapping in. All our thoughts exist out there, and we're just tapping into it. So I say I don't own any of those ideas.
So maybe even the Force, if it's true, maybe he got the Force idea from his NDE.
Well, he's tapping into this, I don't know, collective conscious idea place. So I've always been able to do this, is predict what is going to be in the next video game. So when I was in high school, we played Command and Conquer, and I said, well, here's all the new units they're going to come out with in the next game. And I told you I wrote 230 pages of World of Warcraft 2.0. I go, this is what would work, because in my mind I can see it,
right,
and I can feel it,
right.
And other people are thinking the same things. It's just that something is wrong in the managed up at the top level over there. And I actually made a predictive video. I took StarCraft 2 cinemas, and I said they're revealing a truth. Subtly, subconsciously or whatever. And if you know how to interpret it. So in their last one, it seemed like they were predicting the end of Blizzard Entertainment, and like it would be reborn in 2 years.
Well, if you look at ancient artifacts and sculptures and stuff, they'll see stuff that was created in Mesopotamia area and Egypt, and then stuff that's in Central America, that they look similar in the things that they would create. And maybe the same thing. And I think modern science will kind of go in that route, that no, it wasn't aliens. It was like maybe they were all tapping into the collective consciousness.
They are. There's also something called the 100th monkey effect, where it's like if you teach 100 monkeys something somewhere in the world, they'll start learning it somewhere else. So it's like they're all kind of connected here.
Right. Have you ever been able to predict the future of anything else besides video games? And if so, what were your predictions?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Do you have anything you have any predictions for us?
Well, it's like I know things are going to happen ahead of time. Like with the COVID thing, I know people may or not believe it. But it's like I'm like, they're going to overblow it, and they're going to use it for political purposes, and they're going to try to cause as much chaos as they can at the polls. Okay, let me just say, you can't just tell people what to believe. You got to explain why they should believe it. And it's people, they either care about people or they have an agenda. So if you can identify who cares about people and who has an agenda, then we want people that care about people in office. Right. We don't want people with agendas, because they got something sitting around waiting for a tragedy, and they say never let a tragedy go to waste, because they've got an agenda ready to go. That's why they went to war, and that's why they go, oh, we can implement this and this. They don't care about people. That's the whole problem.
What do you think about UFOs?
because if they care about people, they'll adjust their behavior. I think there might be different things going on, but I think that there's definitely something interdimensional happening, especially with abductions and missing time, because when you're out of your body, I don't think your memory works the same. So I think they go out of their body and then they can't remember. They know, oh, I've been missing time, but they can't. Why can't they remember it? And they say, oh, they must have wiped their memory, or they were out of their body, and it doesn't. They have to download the memory somehow, because we've all had dreams, and we know we had them, but like, why don't we remember them? And that happens with spiritual experiences too. It's like I only remember fragments of these things.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, did you catch the podcast I did with Dr. Alexander?
Yeah, I like him. Yeah.
What was I think fascinating is he's saying that, well, I'm going to say this part myself, but we have two types of memory, short-term and long-term memory. And he's saying that long-term memory is not stored in the brain. It's stored, I think, in what he called it, the quantum hologram, basically outside the body. And I think he even went as far as saying that if you cut out any part of the brain, it does not affect those long-term memories. And I'm adding this, the long-term memories that you already have. And he said, though, it will affect the ability for your brain to convert short-term memories to long-term. So going back to what you were saying, if you're having an out-of-body experience, then you're not in your brain anyways. It's either maybe just logged right. It just hammers straight into your long-term memory.
Yeah, and they said when there's an emotion attached to your memory, then you're more likely, because it's like, how much do you remember of your whole life? Yeah. But emotional incidents or events, you're going to remember them really good. Like everyone remembers where they were on 9/11 or something like that, except for George Bush Sr. He just can't remember that. Everyone else does, because it's an emotional thing.
Right. So you brought up a good question, is during our dreams, why don't we remember them well?
Well, we know if we had one. At least I remember if I had a dream.
Right. And dreams happen when you're about to wake up, at that level of, what are you at? You're at, I don't know, delta state, or you know what I mean? You're at REM sleep, you're not dreaming. Only like right when you're about to wake up, whatever that state of delta, beta, theta, whatever, that's when you're dreaming.
Yeah, and if you wake up at the right time, you can remember. And then it's like, also you want to trigger it to something, like if you can either write it down or say it verbally, something because that'll help you connect to it later.
Right. I don't remember her name, and it's probably bad that I don't. I just don't remember every one of my guests' names. But did you see the one where the woman would get lottery numbers during her dreams, and she was giving away the money?
Wow, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and we didn't say, I didn't ask, and she didn't say, how much, but she was at the level where you don't just go take it to the gas station and they give you money. You've got to go to the lottery office to get the money. So that's got to be probably a pretty big chunk of change.
Yeah. They say, oh, if I won the lottery, I'd be happy. But they said a year after either a tragedy or something positive, your happiness level tends to go back to the median.
Yeah. Well,
after a year.
Well, probably they think that their personality is supposed to change. You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of people who become rich and famous, they're rich and famous, but they're still the same person. They're not, if they're an unhappy or depressed person, they're still that way. They're just a rich and famous unhappy person.
Yeah, it's weird how they almost get worshipped as like deities. They're like, oh, Robin Williams is such a great, he's probably just an average guy. I mean, just probably not that. I mean, these people, if you have lots of money, you can kind of give it away, but they're probably not that great of people.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't comment on him. I can't comment on anybody who I don't know. All I can comment on is Stephen Cake, and I think he's a cool guy.
He's a great guy. I like him. I like to rewatch it real quick, and it's kind of funny for me to watch too. I like to see my jokes.
All right. Well, before I leave to the next person, why don't you leave us with another impression of somebody?
Funny, I didn't invent the time machine for you to go back and date your mother. It's for science, Marty.
That was a good one.
We got the best show. We got the best show, folks. You got to do what you got to do, man, you know.
And on that note, I got to move on. I got to do what I got to do, and I've got to move to the next person. Right. But Stephen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jeff.
You take care.
Have a good night. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye. All right. Let's see who's next. I think Hector was lined up next, so let's get him in. That's what I remember, is Hector was the next person waiting in line. If I'm wrong, I apologize. It says joining. So, for those of you, while we're waiting for Hector, if you weren't here earlier, on Thursday, I had a guest. Her name is Lainey Dolphin. She is a big-time dream analysis expert. She writes for Oprah's newsletter twice a month. She writes for Psychology Today. And we had a cool podcast about her ability in talking about dream analysis. And she's even agreed to come back and analyze some of your dreams. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to make a community post after the video. And then if you guys are interested, let me know. And if we get a lot of responses and everybody wants to see her again and people want their dreams analyzed, then I'll have her back. And I can't guarantee that I'll, get everybody's dreams, but hopefully, we'll get some. Because we can only analyze so many dreams in an hour. All right. We have you here. You have to unmute. Do you hear me, Hector? There you are. Can you hear me?
Hey.
Hey, Hector, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Let me get you off. I'm watching you on the TV.
All right. Where are you from?
What's going on?
Where are you from tonight?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, in Florida.
I was born in Puerto Rico, raised in Brooklyn, New York, and Brownsville.
And Brownsville, Texas?
No, Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. And so now you're back to Florida?
I went to Florida. Well, I'm from Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I moved to Florida about 1995. I moved to Florida.
Well, Florida is almost like New Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York, where Mike Tyson's from.
Right.
I lived a couple of blocks from Mike Tyson.
Do you like black and white cookies?
Black and white cookies. I'm not much on sweets.
Oh, okay. I love those cookies that you can get them in New York. You know the cookies, right?
Yeah, those big black and white cookies.
Yeah,
they're super sweet.
Yeah, those are awesome.
I knew people that baked them.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah. We had my neighborhood was mostly Italian.
Mm-hmm.
On the side I was on, not on Mike's side, on my side.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there were bakeries there, and they made bread and all those cookies, a lot of Italian pastries, and they had all those chocolate black and white cookies.
Yeah, I bet. They're probably awesome.
Yeah, when I was a kid, yeah. Now I don't do too much. I don't do any sweets.
Well, you're a smart guy.
I also drink my coffee black, no sugar.
Ooh. Well, then you are a coffee connoisseur. I call that unleaded. Wait, no, is that unleaded or fully leaded? That's leaded.
That's high test, brother.
Yeah, I don't even know if they make that anymore. That's showing my age. Remember there was leaded gas and unleaded gas?
Yeah, of course, the 70s.
Yeah. I don't think that they have.
I went
leaded.
through the oil embargo. I was online for 2 days waiting for gas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm 64 years old, so.
So you know. All right. So what has happened to you paranormally or supernaturally?
Well, I had an NDE. Well, actually, what I called it, I always called it a DE, a death experience.
What happened?
Back in the mid '80s, uh, during my alcohol and drug and criminal career, um, I was locked up at Brooklyn House of Detention in Brooklyn, and I was alcohol sick.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be. I was chronically ill
Mm.
from alcohol, so you can't be alcohol sick. You know what I mean? You need your alcohol, or you could die. So I was in there for about 3 days before this happened. I had told the doctor, I said, listen, I need some help. I can't. Even the people around me noticed. People were saying, hey, man, you're going to die. You look sick. It was during the AIDS epidemic, and a lot of the inmates that were in there thought I had AIDS. I didn't have AIDS. But anyway, I was on my way on a chain gang to Rikers Island. So they were taking us to Rikers Island. I was on a chain gang. I was shackled and handcuffed to a bunch of guys. And I heard this ringing in my left ear. And then I actually saw myself for a couple of seconds falling. I had no control over it. I was falling. And after that, they had, unhooked me or whatever, and then unshackled me and taken me over to a certain spot in the jail where, where it was a set, whatever. It was a wide open space. It wasn't too far from where I collapsed. And all of a sudden, I see myself. They had me laying on my back. I popped out of the body, and I was facing up. So immediately I spun around, and I saw the body laying there. So the guards were on top of me. They were doing CPR, whatever they were doing. So I went around them so I could get a better look. And what I'm looking at is the face now, and it looks like my brother, because we looked alike. We were only a year and a half apart, or 2 years, or whatever. So I said, "What the is my brother doing, laying here and here?" Because my brother was not like me. He was an older brother. He never got in trouble with the cops, and he never, experienced jail or anything like that. So I was surprised. I said, "Why is this guy doing laying here?" And I realized it was me because of the clothing and all of that. So I'm at the guards' ankles, because the body's on the floor and they're all around the body. So I'm at their ankles and I'm looking, I'm just staring at it. And, and I think about it, I say to myself, geez, I was nobody's son. I was nobody's friend. I was nobody's brother, uncle, whatever. I was just me. I was just me, and I'm observing this like I knew. I wasn't shocked or surprised or nothing like that. It's as if though I've done this before. And so I'm going around. It must have been minutes, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. And I'm going around. I'm hearing all the noise. Everybody talking, screaming, hollering. It was very noisy in there. Jails are usually noisy anyway. But they were talking amongst themselves, and I was going around and observing and all of that. And all of a sudden, I see a like a vortex opening up in the ceiling in the corner. So I went around. I caught it with the corner of my eye. So I went around. First, I didn't have no body. I had absolutely no body, no arms, no legs, nothing. So anyway, I went up there to where the vortex is, and I went in. I went into this thing. So as I went in, I looked back at the scene, and I could see it fading into darkness, the jailhouse. not the jailhouse itself, but the guards, the body laying on the floor. I couldn't hardly see it because of the guards, but I could see their sneakers, and it's just fading into darkness, sort of like pixelated. It wasn't just like, you got light and dark. The dark side was taking over the light side, the part where there was light, but it was sort of like pixelated around the rims. Anyway, so I turn around, I'm going the other direction, and it's obviously like a tunnel. And the very first thing that I feel or sense or whatever, it was amazing, was an overwhelming sense of peace. Just peace. Like you can't describe peace here. Like us. You just can't. This is absolute, unadulterated peace. And immediately after that, I noticed that I had no more insecurities. There were no insecurities whatsoever. They were gone. And then an overwhelming sense of confidence came over me, like you wouldn't believe. Like I was confidence. I mean, I walk around like a confident guy, and I assert myself in a certain way, depending on the situations or whatever. But this was a confidence like no other. And then, so I had the peace and the no insecurity, the confidence, and this overwhelming euphoric feeling of bliss. And it was just total. Every time I think of it, I go there once in a while, without any medications. And it's just absolutely unbelievable. But anyway, so I'm going forward, and all of a sudden I noticed these light beings, two of them, and they're female. They have no features of a female. It's just a feeling that they were female. And so I get over there, and they're telling me that I had to go back, that it wasn't my time or whatever they were saying, and I refused. I kind of went around one of them, and then another one stopped me and said, "You have to go back." So as I'm looking around in the area there, to my left, there's this immense, huge ocean of energy, like a field of energy. I found a picture on the internet that sort of resembles what I saw. And it was amazing, just as if though you were standing on a beach and looking at the ocean. The only thing that this was all dark, and the energy field was like radio waves. And they emitted light. They emitted light like translucent light. And also there was millions and like millions of orbs. It looked like little orbs bouncing out of it. And there was so I tried to go near there, and I noticed that there's another translucent light being, but this one was male. And the reason, and again, no features, nothing like that, just a translucent being of light, and it was male. And I know it was male because of the feeling I got. It was just like, and they were communicating just in thought. It was like, I said some things to them. I don't remember what I said, but I said some things to them, and we were going back and forth that way. And so I decided to look down to see if, some curiosity kicked in. So I decided to look down to see if I had, a body or whatever. And what I noticed was that I was a translucent light, like an orb around, I looked all the way down as if though I was trying to look past my belly at my feet. And what I noticed was that I was a translucent orb, and I had this little. It was round. My body, this little body I had, which is an orb, was round, and I had like this little, um, sort of like a skirt or something that went around with it, and it was like wavy. Like you ever notice those fish that are in deep sea and they have those fancy fins that just flop around? But it went around. It was round, and so I thought that was pretty cool. But again, I just had a lot of an overwhelming feeling of peace and tranquility, like no other. And I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back for nothing. So anyway, the girl tells me, one of the beings tell me to look back. So I did. I looked back, and she said look down, and I looked back and down, and what I saw was my body, very tiny, but I know it's my body. And it was there was like a spotlight on it and nothing else around it. It was like in total darkness, absolute Vanta black. It was darkness. And the only thing you could see is the body, and the spotlight is on it, right? So it's like an actor on a stage
Mm-hmm.
in a dark theater, and there's a
Right.
spotlight on him, and you don't see nothing else around him, just that, right? So it was like that. And so I decided to go back because they weren't letting me through. I had no other choice. I said, okay. And as soon as I said, okay, I went flying back, and I could tell I'm flying back at warp speed now because it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, the body. And I get there, and I go in through the forehead. Um, I go in through the forehead, and as soon as I wake up, I go through the forehead, my eyes open, and now I'm in jail. But what really gets me every time I think about this happened in the 1980s now, is I didn't see anything on final approach. Like
Yeah.
I didn't see a room, I didn't see a building, I didn't see any guards. When I approached the body and I got very close to it, I wasn't in a room. It was just the body. And as soon as I opened my eyes, boom, I was back in that room. I was back in jail,
Were you back in your
never
cell?
going through a building or anything. I was back on the floor where they had me.
Hmm.
They still had me laying on the floor. So,
Did they think that you had died, or what did the people there in the
yeah,
Earth realm
yeah,
think that happened to you?
they I think this is documented. They have, they think that I had died. According to one of the guys that was there that I know from the neighborhood, said I thought I had died. When I came back, and the guard, as soon as I opened my eyes, the guard grabbed me and lifted me up. I tell the guard, I says, I went somewhere, and
Mhm.
he said to me, no, I told him that I saw my body. That's what I told him. I saw my body, and I went somewhere. That's what I said. So he says to me, what did you see? Referring to the body. Oh no, he said, what was different? Was there anything different? Like as if though he knew or whatever, right? He says, was there anything different? And he said, and I said to him, yeah, the jacket was different. And he dismissed it. He said, he used some, that's bullshit. So dismissed it. He stuffed me in this. I was very, very, very angry when I came back. Extremely angry. Like no,
Mhm.
I mean, I was blowing up. He puts me in a cell with this guy, with one guy, waiting for the doctor to come up. And I'm staring at the guy with the meanest look, I guess, that I could ever give somebody or whatever. And the guy looks at me and he goes, why are you looking at me like that? what is wrong with you? You know, and that kind of like snapped me out of it. And I faced the cell bars at the door, and I was banging on it for him to get me out of there. And the doctor came, pulled me out, and he was messing with my jugular veins. And I told the doctor, I said, I told you that was going to happen. I told you. I told the doctor very loud. Everybody heard it. And so anyway, the jacket that I saw, um, when I first got out of the body, I had my regular clothes on. It was the same jacket I went in with. All the clothes were the same. But after a while of going around, the jacket changed. So the jacket was a corduroy. It was a beige corduroy, something I wouldn't be caught dead in. So no pun. Anyway, he had a fur collar. It was beige corduroy, and that's what I saw. You know, towards the end before I went up to the vortex. So anyway, I went to see the judge. The judge threw me out of there. He says, "Get out of here." It's case closed, dismissed, whatever it was. I don't even remember what the case was about. And so they gave me tokens to take the train home. You know, subway tokens. And so what I did was I went to the liquor store. I got me a pint of wine and I walked home. Brownsville is far from downtown Brooklyn, but I walked and it was cold. But anyway, so months later, oh, another thing, Jeff, I wasn't alcohol sick anymore. When I came back, because I was sick, before that, I was sick and dying, and I did whatever. But I was alcohol sick. And then when I came back, I wasn't. I was just like very, very angry. And I was, you know, messed up and confused and, you know, all beat up and everything. But I was not, and I didn't realize that until years later that I got to thinking about this whole thing and all that. I got to realize, wow, when I came back, I wasn't sick, you know? So anyway, months later, I'm helping an old friend move, an older guy, move his apartment. And I was homeless, and he was helping me get back on my feet and all that. And, you know, I know him all my life. He knows me since I'm a kid. And so I'm helping him move, and I thought I was going to get some money for it. But what he did was he gave me food and clothing. And he gave me a suitcase and it had clothing in it, and he gave me food. And I was like, all right, I wasn't very happy because I really wanted money. But anyway, I get to the basement where I was staying at night. I was homeless, so I used to sleep in the basement to stay out of the cold weather. And I open up the suitcase, and there's the brown jacket, the corduroy jacket that I saw on the body before I went into the vortex. And I thought absolutely nothing of it at the time. I kid you not. It was like, I knew it's amazing thing to think. I mean, if you're walking around your house and all of a sudden you see a vortex opening up, you know, you're gonna think, what the hell is that? You know, you're gonna get spooked. But after that experience, I kind of like knew that there was another realm. I wasn't ever sure, but I kind of like always knew. And also the fear of death was like absolutely obliterated. It was gone.
Did you change Did you change in any way your personality?
Personality, no. My personality is, matter of fact, when I was on the other side, I was still the same. My personality has not changed. I've always been a spiritual person. Um, I was raised Catholic in a Catholic church. The church was the center of the neighborhood. I grew up in an Italian uh, section of of our neighborhood, and you know, we all the church was our centerpiece, the Catholic Church. I never subscribed to it really. I was an altar boy and a lector. I loved it. I loved doing midnight mass and, you know, preparing for it and all that. But, you know, I mean, I never was really a religious person. And I realized also that religion plays no part in all this thing, in the grand scheme of things, you know,
Mm.
for me. And as far as the changing anything about me, let's just say that the years after that incident, after that happened, I started getting my life together. I went to rehab for 3 years. I became a counselor for the program. I help kids, adolescents, um, re-enter society. I did a lot of scared straight with them. I took them to Rikers Island, locked them up in cells, and scared the crap out of them. So you know, I did a lot of stuff, but I've always been an introspector, and I always think about this experience, and I cherish it. And you're the first person, uh, you know, that I've ever spoken to on like this here with an audience.
Mm.
I've told people, and you know, they dismiss it. They
Well,
they think you're crazy and stupid and whatever. And
well,
so because it's so, you know, it's mine, and I cherish it and I love it. And I go to sleep and I think about it. I go there. I got COVID, the long version of COVID,
mhm.
and you know, I mean, I didn't want to go because my sister and my daughter, but I really didn't care, to tell you the truth. I went to the hospital and they were going to keep me. I brought my breathing up through breathing exercises, and they realized that they weren't going to keep me because there was so many other sick people there. But you know, I took care of myself. I was sick for about 2 months. Um, a lot of different symptoms, and I attacked every one of them with my soul. You know, I focus on it and I attack it with my soul, not with my brain. Um, Also, I always looked at myself as um, like a soul with a body, you know, as opposed to a body with a soul. Wayne Dwyer said that also, but I always thought of that. And also, I never really liked people around me until I started to look at them as souls,
Mhm.
the same way I look at myself. And it's amazing. Sometimes the feelings are overwhelming. You know, people that I had a hard time with, people I didn't like and didn't like me. Uh, I've gotten next to them and connected with the soul, and it's amazing what happens. Yeah, I mean, with me, it's amazing what happens. The other person actually feels, and for some reason, they kind of like not like you that much anymore. That makes any sense.
Have you discovered for yourself why you were sent back or why you think you were?
Set back or sent back.
Yes.
I think that I was sent back um, because I had no love for myself. Um, I came here to whatever the master plan is, and I didn't achieve it in any
Mm.
way. I was strictly concerned with alcohol and drugs and um, crime. Um, so even though I very young, I was a manager. I was a general manager. I got mixed up into. I got myself mixed up with um, heroin and alcohol, and a very popular drug at the time was also Quaaludes, which are great. I'm not promoting them, but at the time they were. And so, yeah, so I got really hooked on heroin. I lost my job behind it, which is a great job. Um, and I was alcohol, and also I was general manager of a beer distributor in Brooklyn,
Hmm.
and so I had the beer there all the time.
Hmm.
6 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was, I had my beer.
Do you still remember the experience clear today, or as clear today as you did when it happened?
Absolutely. The only thing that I don't remember is I'm sure I made some comments to these light beings, um, because it was back and forth kind of thing. I know that for a fact, but I just don't remember what I said. But I do remember them telling me that uh, the female light beings, that I had to go back. You got to go back. They said you got to go back. Um, I don't know if they said it's not your time or whatever. Sometimes that pops into my head. A lot of
Mhm.
times it doesn't. I go back there and the I visit the place in my head, in my imagination, in my
Mhm.
soul. I feel it. I don't feel the the peace, because I think I don't, because I'm here. You understand? I'm in this body. My vibrations aren't as high as it was uh, over there. But but I go there many times before I go to sleep, and it's the most amazing thing. And after watching your podcasts
Hmm.
and stuff like that, which I think is great,
Well, thank you.
um, I watched a lot of your podcasts throughout the year or whatever on YouTube, and I always say, one day I got to call this guy.
Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you shared with us, and I'm pretty sure the other 300 people watching are glad you shared too. You came to the right audience for this.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I realize that. That's why I did it. I wouldn't do it. I've seen the INDS thing. I went to their website, and I just felt like they were probing too much, asking too many questions. The questionnaire was just, I don't know, like they were doing an experiment on me. So I
Oh,
said,
wow.
screw this. I'd rather just talk to a guy like you
Well, I
who
appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah.
What I like, or one of the things I found interesting was from what you were saying, it seemed like you had already been through this before. It's like, oh, I'm doing this again. Is that right?
Yeah. when when I came out of the body, I wasn't shocked.
Uh-huh.
I was facing up the ceiling. When I came out of my chest, I was facing up the ceiling, and I immediately spun around, and I wasn't shocked. I thought it was my brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing I thought. And I immediately went around the guards who were blocking my way, and I was at their ankles, and I saw the face, and I said, "Shit, uh, my brother. That's my brother. What's my brother doing in here?" Because it was a jail. I realized I was in jail. That never left. My personality, it was me. Me that I'm talking to you right now. That's what it was. I wasn't no different.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't shocked or scared or anything. It's like I've been there before. I've done this. Here we go again, whatever. But yeah, all nonchalant. about it.
Have you ever considered getting hypnotized and see if you can remember with the conversation with you and the light beings?
Yes, yes, I want to do that. One day I'm going to do that. I want to go through the whole thing again. Maybe I could get that feeling again. It's amazing, man. It's incredible. It's like sometimes I think I'm just wasting my time here, man. You know, I'm not suicidal off of that experience must have happened. I don't remember the year. It happened after 85. I know that. I know it happened after 85 because of a certain event. And I know that that hadn't happened yet. In 89, actually from around that time, after this experience, I started to get my life together, trying my hardest, my damnedest to put an end to that. Life's, the problem with me was with the alcohol, especially because I kicked heroin with alcohol. So with me, the alcohol was worse than the heroin by about 100 million times. The withdrawal. I kicked heroin without no problem. I couldn't kick alcohol. I would get seizures.
Yeah, because I thought heroin is one of the most hardest things to break, that habit. And he's locked up. Okay, well, he's been telling us his... We have Hector here, and as generally with most of my guests, I usually, I limit them to about 10 minutes-ish. But when I get an NDE like we've had with Hector's, and I had last week with Williams, I let those go on and tell the story. And I know I have 4 people here that I want to get with you, and I will soon. I'm not sure if Hector's coming back or not. Anyways, he's gone. All right. So we'll get Karen up. But Hector, if you're listening, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you sharing with us. And we'll see. Here we go. Hello, Karen. Oh, she doesn't have voice up yet. It's connecting. Karen, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I do.
All right. How are you?
Wait, isn't he still talking?
He dropped out. He totally if you're watching YouTube, there's a delay.
Okay, let me go ahead and turn that off.
You maybe, if you have that on, you at least want to mute it. All of a sudden, he disappeared, and I thought he he lost his Zoom link. So I'll go back to him in a minute. But now that you're here, we got you here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. And where are you from?
I know. I'm here in Southern California. I'm in Hemet.
Hemet. I don't know where that is.
Nobody ever does. It's it's in Riverside County, so it's near Palm Springs.
Okay.
Out in that neighborhood.
Okay.
It's I just moved out here, so I was living 30 years in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So this is kind of like country living for me now. A lot of change in the last few years.
Are you on I-10 or near I-10?
I am. Yeah, I'm south of the 10, probably like 20 minutes down a country road.
Cool.
It's really rural. I'm getting used to it because I was in the city. Glendale was the town I grew up in, by the way.
Wow, that's where my wife's from.
I know. I remember that came up in one of I've watched every one of your,
thank you. Are you, I was going to say, are you the Karen Doyle that I always see every video commenting? So thank you so much for always commenting. It's nice to finally meet you.
I know. I didn't think I'd call in. And then all of a sudden I thought, wait a minute, I'm home because usually I work on Saturdays. Why am I not calling in?
Mm-hmm.
So here I am.
All right.
So
Well, that's great. Yeah. So yeah, it's funny is you never think of California and rural living in the same sentence.
there's definitely a ruralness to where I am. I just saw a wild coyote driving just like an hour ago. So
So you're in the desert then, right? Where it gets really hot.
I'm in the desert.
Like Palm Springs there. It's crazy hot.
It gets hot, but it's not as hot as Palm Springs. It's a little bit more manageable.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of weird. I'm hearing a delay for the YouTube interview, but I don't know how to, I'm afraid I'd lose you if I go back to that because I'm on my iPhone.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I would, some of the people though, I usually tell them go to your YouTube and at least turn off the volume on the video.
I have a feeling I'd probably lose the connection if I go back there.
Well, it's all right. I don't hear it on my end, but if it's driving you crazy, then I understand that as well.
Well, that's okay. It's weird to hear my voice. Hello. But I'll tell you what kind of got me into this.
Sure.
From the very beginning, I'll hold up this watch. This is a Casio watch.
I was going to say, is that a Casio?
It's a Casio. And this is what started everything. And to make a long story short, in June of 2019, my uncle passed away. And when we were very close, but right before he died, he changed his trust at the very last minute and left all his money to a person that completely manipulated him.
Okay.
But I wasn't real sure. I was like, wow, maybe he wanted to do that. Maybe he didn't want to do that. So I kept fluctuating and I was actually driving myself nuts because I was grieving him. At the same time, I was like pissed off at him because that was completely out of character for him to do. So I was leaning more towards him getting taken advantage of, but then again, maybe that's what he really wanted. So it was driving me crazy. And so I had his watch. I was wearing it because I missed him so much. Right now it says, but I thought it said 10:01, but anyway.
This is your uncle, right?
Yeah, my uncle, his watch. So anyway, his watch was, I was starting to develop a relationship with his watch because I was constantly talking to my uncle in the afterlife, and almost as if on cue, that watch would ding or beep.
Wow.
And it was like, okay, it kind of opened up a portal. And it was the beginning stages of this communication that I was having with him. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take this a little further. And of course, this went on for 6-7 months. I thought it's time to take it a little further. And I'm going to ask him a point blank question and ask him to send me a sign. And the question was, did you intentionally mean to leave that money to him? Or was it he was taking advantage of you? Which, please help me out here. And I said, all you got to do is send me a sign and it'll be over for me. Well, right at that moment, my phone beeped as if it was charging. And there was no reason for it to beep. The cell phone, when you're charging it, it makes that beep when it connects.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, that's just a little too coincidental because I was driving. There was no one around. It was just me, my cell phone, driving. I talked to him out loud a lot and I said, was that intentional or were you taken advantage of? If you were being taken advantage of, beep, do something. No, I didn't say beep. I didn't say anything specific, but I said, just give me a sign. And then the phone beeped.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like a mystery.
Well, it was really clear in my heart, like in that, because remember, I had all those months of having the practice with communicating with him. He's a powerhouse spiritually. And so then I thought, you know what, that was too easy. I'm going to ask you, was that just like a fluke or was that a real sign? And then the phone beeped again.
Wow.
As if it was, when it's a funny beep that the phone makes. Anyway, so that it was on at that point. Now I hired a medium. I did that whole thing, and I got even more and more involved in this. And then in the meantime, my mom, my best friend, which in fact was my uncle's sister, the two siblings, she passed away. And then it was just exploding. Now I'm exploding. So anyway, I'm a painter, and why I listen to you, which allows me to, is I can sit and do my paintings while I'm listening to you. You know, most people, you know, not most, but a lot of people listen to music or jazz or whatever. I'm listening to NDE testimonies, and I've listened to all of yours.
Oh,
and
thank you.
You're like hands down the best at interviewing, because you just let the person talk and express themselves. And I've listened to all the other ones, and they interrupt, and I'm like, ugh. They're almost like, when they interrupt, it's almost like they're waking me up out of my trance or something. So
well, I appreciate that. You know, it's I'm glad it's good confirmation, and I get it from the audience as well, because, you know, on my end, you don't know whether should I be interjecting or should I just hold back and let them talk. But everybody says they love it that way, so I continue doing it.
Yeah, because of the topic. The topic is really sensitive, and we have antennas on us, and those antennas are perked up, going, whoa, 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 what is this? This sounds really familiar. And then when someone like breaks that trance, it's almost like you snap out of the trance, because we're all spiritual beings having a human experience.
Right.
So anyway, I've been really fascinated with all of them, because they're all so different, but all the same too at the same time.
I have two quick questions before I gotta run. One is, so what happened with this and the trust? Did you change the trust or anything? Or it's still with the other person?
The other person got all the money, and we had to just let it go. But there's so much more to the story, because then when my mom's trust was dissolved, in the middle of all of that, we had that big real estate bubble where houses were selling for like double the amount, and that's what happened. So when we sold our house, it kind of evened the score, you could say.
Oh, good for you.
But anyway, I just want to show you one of my paintings.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I was going to ask you. My second question was, do you paint NDEs?
I do. That's
wow.
what I'm painting.
Awesome. Let's see.
And that's all I paint. I'm like,
wow, that's amazing.
That's the only thing that gets me excited. So this is,
wow.
I'll show you my favorite one.
Wow, that's cool.
So this is more cloud oriented and landscape oriented. But the truth is, during the pandemic, there was so much downtime. I painted like over 100 more NDE themed cloud type paintings.
Wow. I like the colors in it. It's vibrant.
Yeah, I have a lot. I'm almost like with color. That's like my thing. Like all my clouds are colorful. They're not. Oh, a few of them are like, you know, just monotone or whatever. But for the most part, yeah, it's like rainbow clouds.
Do you paint Do you paint the vortex?
Yes.
You got one there?
Show you. I got my vortex one. I got them displayed all over because I like to look at them, and they keep me calm.
Now, you haven't had an NDE. You just, from all these stories, you're able to paint them.
I haven't had an NDE, but let me go in the light.
It's almost like an ocean wave kind of vortex.
Well, it certainly has kept my interest. Because
what is in the middle? Is that like a structure or a building?
No buildings. Just I don't know. Let me bring it closer.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you just see these things and paint them? Or
I feel them.
You feel
them? I don't know what I'm going to paint. And I did one NDE cloud painting that I really feel my mom there big time.
Cool.
Because we're still best buddies, even in the afterlife. But, you know, she's like, you need to make some new friends.
What are you doing with all these paintings? Are you gonna put them up in a gallery or something?
I'm gonna sell them at some of the art fairs that you see, you know, like the white tents, they close off the street and there's all these white tents, the art fair, the outdoor art fairs, hopefully.
Cool. Awesome.
So,
awesome. I
yeah.
hope you get I hope that's really successful for you.
Well, thank you. But that's not the main goal. The main goal is the peace that I find when I'm painting them, you know, not so much the monetary. That would be nice, but it's just a wonderful way to pass the time.
Well, you know, you can do stuff, I believe, and be in a kind of a meditation while doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. On my Instagram, it's, you know, art as a kind of my theme is art as a way of, you know, finding peace, or I don't know how I worded it, but as a spiritual experience.
Cool.
You know, as a meditation. Yeah.
That's great.
So, but thank you for having me. I'm glad I got in.
Well, thanks for always watching, and I wish you the best.
Because that was the beginning, but there's been like boom, 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 so many after that, because that was in 2019. But I mean, I could go on forever. But thank you, Jeff.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you. You take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Let me get back to Hector real quick, and then I got to move forward because I've got 3 people waiting, and I haven't even, and I'm already into overtime.
That's not the main goal. The main goal is the peace.
Hello, Hector.
When I'm painting them, you know, not so much.
It looks like his phone is set down on a chair. It looks like it's even upside down. Like we're looking at maybe his phone fell on the floor. It looks like that's his camera. Oh, there you are. You're back. Hector, can you hear us?
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I lost you, so I figured that you got kicked out of Zoom, so I went on to the next person.
Yeah, but I didn't know I was gonna get you back, but okay.
I kind of gotta.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you well. I kind of got to be quick though. I've got 3 people and I'm already into overtime.
Right.
But I didn't want to leave you hanging.
Great. No, I just wanted to. I hear you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I just wanted to say that, yeah, to finish answering your question, I did change my life. Has changed immensely, especially spiritually. You know, I got into quantum everything. Don't know how, but one day I was in the library and it popped up a voice in my head, and I did it. I didn't know what quantum was, but I associate quantum with the experience, and one day I'll tell you a little more about that.
Cool.
I'll let you go, and I appreciate you having me on, and have yourself a great evening.
Thank you, and Hector, thank you again for sharing with us. I know I appreciate you, and I'm sure everybody else here appreciates you coming in, and thanks for the first time publicly sharing your story like this.
Not a problem, my friend. Thank you.
All right, bud. You have a good rest of your night.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Don't report. Who is next? I don't know who is next. I don't remember. Let's go with iPhone. And see who iPhone is. It's like John Doe, iPhone. Asked to start video. So again, I want to let you get, well, we don't have time.
Oh, it's me.
Hello, this is iPhone.
Hi.
Is this Tanya?
Yes, this is Tanya.
Oh, I like your Christmas tree. You're already decorated. It's very nice.
Yes. It's never too early.
Right. You know what I'm surprised this year is usually, and I hope they all did. Usually, you know, not usually, but all the Christmas stuff is already up in the stores already. And usually they're already playing the music. And so by the time Christmas comes around, you're tired of it. At least I'm tired of the music. So I'm at least going to say thank you, stores out there, for not playing the Christmas music yet. You can kind of give us a little time. Probably day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, then it's going to be full on Christmas. Everything is my guess.
Right.
So, what you got going on this weekend?
Well, I thought of sharing something really special that happened to me. I mean, it happened several things, but I'll just share one that I think it touched me profoundly. So, I have been in this kind of like a spiritual awakening or a spiritual journey. And so almost every day something happens that amaze me and that make me think that it's not like me making stuff up. But anyways, in this one occasion, I went to bed, I went into my room, and I was watching a video on in my room, and then I went to turn from one side back to my back, on my back. And then as I turned on my back, because I was laying in bed, I saw this round orb, like the size of a golf ball, and it was so bright. I describe it like the sun, like gold color, like the sun, bright, like golf ball, or flew like across my room, and I saw it with my own eyes. So I sat up from my bed and I was like, what was that? What did I see? So my left brain started like trying to rationalize it and trying to like find like a reason, like what maybe maybe I didn't see that, maybe it was something, but no, it was so clear, so bright, so close to my bed, close to my body, that I could have reached and touch it, but I was so slow that I didn't do that. But I was sitting there thinking like, oh man, I should have reached over to touch it. So anyhow, so as I'm sitting there thinking about that, everything that happened, and how I saw this bright light with my own eyes in my room, I look up like to the ceiling. Like, I don't know, I just look up to the ceiling. And when I look up to the ceiling, there are like little feathers falling from the ceiling.
Wow.
All sizes. They were not the same size. Some were smaller than other ones, and they were raining down like snowflakes from the ceiling. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, no way. So I reached for my phone, because I sleep with my phone near to me every day, all the time. So I reached over for my phone and I was like, I had to record this. And I just started like trying to record the feathers falling down in my room. And every time I will push record, they will disappear. And every time I will like let go of the record button in my phone, they will appear again. So I was doing that number for like several times, like, okay, kind of like a game thing. And then I realized that it was just for me. Like it didn't want me to record it, that it was just for my eyes. And then when they were like come to my bed level, they will disappear completely. And then the next day when I woke up the next morning, I got up and I started like searching in the floor of my room for the feathers, and I couldn't find any feathers.
I wonder if that was your guardian angel trying to get in touch with you, or someone who had passed. What do you think?
I think it was my guardian angel.
Yeah, because isn't that a
because I have asked him or her to show itself to me because of other prior things that happened, and I said, can you leave a feather on top of my dresser? And that was the specific thing that I asked, because I was like, if this is you, can you leave a feather on top of my dresser? And what I got in response was a shower of feathers. No one feather, but a shower of feathers.
Don't they say that a feather is the sign from an angel?
Mm-hmm.
So that's amazing. Well, you're the second person tonight that saw orbs. I don't know if you saw the very first, I think it was the very first woman that we had on to, the first guest. Yeah. She saw orbs, and so it's nice to see someone else. And interesting that yours is golf ball size, so it was kind of small.
Well, to my eyes, it was big.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I usually record them on the phone. I can be sleeping, and then I wake up, and it's like something tells me like record, and then that something tells me where to record. Mm-hmm. Like to the left, to my room, to the right, to the top, the center, whatever. And wherever I point the camera on, that's where the orbs will show up. Mm. And then I came to realize like which one is, for example, the one that I identify as my guardian angel, because that one is like fairly big, and it has colors in it. It's like violet, pink, gold, and kind of like white also. And it's always the same color, it's always the same orb. So
have you ever been able to take a picture of it?
Oh yeah, I have videos and photos.
Oh, so you do have it now?
Yes,
so even though I guess it wouldn't let you take pictures or video of the feathers, but you are able to take pictures of it. Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Well, so I have a new.
That's why I said that one occasion, like that one thing, it was for me. Like they didn't want me to record that one because it was kind of like a personal thing, I guess. But all the other times, like I'm able to get pictures or videos and of it. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Well, thank you for sharing. I've got to run to the next one, but thank you for sharing. And maybe next time you can come back and hold up the picture and show it to us.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right. You take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. And we've got Jeannie up next. And Ray was here. Maybe Ray somehow got disconnected from Zoom. Wow, that was weird. Did you guys see that? It was like a flash.
No one feather, but a shower of feathers.
Don't they say that a feather is the sign from an angel? All right. You're halfway here, Jeannie. I can hear you. Tonight that saw orbs. Great. I don't know if you saw the very What you want to do is turn down the volume on YouTube.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
Like in the video itself, not like your total volume.
Okay.
That way you can, so you can still hear me. And then some reason your video's not on. I don't know if you, here it comes.
Okay.
And there you are.
Yay.
Welcome. And where are you from, Jeannie?
Oh, I'm on. The other girl isn't on anymore?
No, it's your turn.
Oh, okay.
Welcome. And where are you from?
I am from Boston, part of Boston called Brighton.
Well, welcome. Cool.
And as my dad used to say, I feel nervous in the service right now.
Well, you don't look nervous. No one would, if you wouldn't have said anything, we would have never known.
Thank you. Well, I'm a very spiritual person, and I'm in my 60s. And when I was about 10, I was raised Catholic, and I just kind of knew this isn't for me. And I basically got into ESP when I was really young. And ever since then, it's just been who I am. And I am very spiritual, and like I just said, and I meditate sometimes, and I feel a peace, but I want to get to the point where I go to some of the levels that I've heard other people go to, but I think that takes time and energy. And the other thing I wanted to talk about are a couple of things. One thing that won't take very long to talk about is that numbers are very important to me. And my birthday is in April. I see my birthday numbers every day, up to maybe 10 times, 20 times. I see the number of my year I was born. I see, 4 and 7 on April 7th.
Oh, wow.
And it has comforted me for many years. Whenever I see my numbers, I feel like God saying, Jeannie, I'm with you. I know that you're going through a tough time. I love you. I'm here. And when I have friends around me, they say to me, this is unbelievable. And I'll say, see that sign over there? We'll be in a car and it'll say my birth date. And they'll go, yeah, you're right.
Wow.
So there's that. And I've never heard anyone else say that before, Well,
I don't really talk about myself that much, but that is one thing I see, probably not as much as you, but I'll see on clocks my birthday. I was going to ask you, do you see your birthday on the clock that often?
On the digital clock, yes. In my living room, when I'm watching the TV, I'll happen to look at the clock at the exact time that it's my numbers. And and when I've had very difficult times, like right as I'm having a hard time, they will appear. And it's so cool and groovy. I get so excited and I just feel so relieved. So there's that. Then the other thing I wanted to talk about, when I was 24, the first death I ever experienced was my grandma. And about a month before she passed, I was sleeping. I had just gotten home from work and I was in my bed and I wasn't asleep. I was in some other place and I went forward in time and I saw my grandma Alice's funeral. I actually saw her funeral. And what I saw, I went into the Catholic church that she was buried in, and I saw a silver coffin in front of the church. And then I saw my mother wearing a certain coat and a certain scarf, and my aunt, her sister, standing next to her wearing a certain coat. And then I saw, my grandmother was standing in back of the coffin in the blue dress that she got buried in. And she was emanating this love. She was emanating, Jeannie, I'm okay. Don't worry about me. I love you. And and then the only difference in real life was that basically in the church, everyone was on one side of the church in real life at her funeral. But in this particular, it wasn't a vision. I was there. I was actually there. And the only difference was that we were on the other side of the church. So that stayed with me. And I never have really grieved my grandmother because of that.
Oh.
But I've never heard anyone talk about going into the future. I mean, I'm sure people have, and I'm sure there are folks listening that that probably have experienced it, but I've never experienced it. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure there's people that've been on Saturdays and have mentioned the future, and I was just thinking about, I'm pretty sure I had at least one or two NDE guests. I've had one of them, Kenneth Lett, saw all kinds of things in the future. If you've seen that video, I've done 2 videos with that. And I had somebody recently that, I think it was that kind of like her mother, she had died in a car accident and had her NDE, but before she left on her way, her mother was telling her, don't sit on this side, sit on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't listen. And if she would have sat on the other side, she wouldn't have got injured in the car accident.
Oh.
But since she sat on the wrong side, she had the NDE. And I was thinking there's something else too, but I just can't remember for some reason.
Yes, I hear you. I think what's tough is that I hear all these people talk a lot about NDEs, and I'm like, I don't want to die to have one. I don't. But I wish I could have a spiritual experience where like I could go into something like that, and then all of a sudden have these intense psychic experiences and know things about people. But I feel like if that was meant to happen in my life, that would happen.
Makes sense.
But I don't want to die and have an NDE. I don't want to have to die to have it.
Sure.
So,
I think that if you get heavily into meditation, that you can have NDE-like experiences. I'm not heavily into it, so I can't say that from experience. But I think that I was talking to Dr. Eben Alexander, about that, and I think that he may have mentioned something about that.
yeah.
So
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to say is I had a friend about 4 years ago that committed suicide named Leslie. And if anyone's ever been through that out there in podcast land, I know how you feel. I've been through it. And it's an awful thing to lose your friend like that and to lose someone suddenly. And about 2 weeks ago, I was on Facebook and I was trying to get into a GoFundMe page that her friend put up to pay for a memorial stone.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And as I was doing it, I had some water bottles on my coffee table and they started moving.
Oh, wow.
And I knew that was Leslie. And we had talked about it, that if either one of us ever passed before the other one, that we should let the other one know somehow. And yeah, so, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I've kind of had psychic experiences my whole life, but the ones I told you about are pretty profound and the most pronounced.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us and sharing with us tonight.
Yes.
I really appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming on, and I wish you the best.
Thank you. Cool and groovy, Jeff. You rock.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. Before I go here, I want to remind you that I've got 2 really cool podcasts coming up. And there's a bunch of more of you, and so you might have not have heard it earlier. I have one. My next one that I'm planning tomorrow is with Lainey Dalphin, and she is a dream analysis expert. And I think it was a cool podcast, and she has agreed to come back and be a guest again and analyze some of your dreams. So if I get a big response and everybody's into it, and then if everybody, and then I'll post, if you want to submit your dream, I'll have you guys submit your dreams, then maybe we'll do another one. So it's different from NDEs, but I think it's cool, and I hope you will watch that one. The second one that I plan on posting on Monday is with the producer of the movie What Dreams May Come. And that was a great podcast. And we talk about the movie. We talk about Robin Williams. We talk about his book that he co-wrote with his wife, who is on the other side of the veil, and they wrote this book together. We talk about the movie Somewhere in Time, which is actually the book before What Dreams May Come. And we talk about him being the godson of Frank Sinatra. And we get into like old school Hollywood stuff. And if you've seen the movie The Godfather, then you may know the part where the Frank Sinatra-like character wanted to be in a movie and he couldn't get in the movie. So they went to the head of the studios, and, you know, the horse's head ended up getting cut off and all that stuff. And we talk about basically the real story of that. So if you want to hear that, then I definitely recommend you to listen to that. Otherwise, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and watching the videos. And I hope to see you back next Saturday. So have a great week and have a good